Hello folks, it is Easter Monday. That means we're all chilling, hopefully having a good weekend, or at least a random day off, and we're all having some fun. Today, it is quite cold where I am, but hopefully it is very nice where you are. First of all, bit of an announcement. We are officially 2 months away from Exile Fest, which means I'm now going to be pushing it every Monday or so, just to make sure that you guys know what's coming up and what we're doing. It's going to be an amazing event on June the 21st in Liverpool at Just Play Games, a wonderful hosting place there, where we're going to be playing a one-page rules for Warhammer 40,000 themed Grimdark Future tournament. That means bring your Warhammer 40,000 models, make yourself a list of one-page rules, and you can be a part of the fun. If you want to bring an army, you don't have to though. You can just turn up, say hello, drink some tea or beer or whatever your preference is on the day. To register and let us know you're coming, simply email your 40k army of choice and your name and contact number to northernexileevents@gmail.com. That is northernexileevents@gmail.com. If you're not bringing an army, just give me your name and your contact number so I can make sure that you're okay if you're coming on the day and things like that. We will be doing a tournament during the day with prizes for the top 3 ranked people. Yes, we have trophies. I bought them. I got them customized. They're all here, ready to go. And we're going to be doing a night out that evening as well, where we're all going to go out and talk about the hobby, mental health, good things, have a good time, chaps, is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be having a good time. So, yeah, it's going to be an awesome day, a fantastic weekend, and hopefully, you can all make it. If you can't, then no problem. I'm going to be doing another one, hopefully, in the near future. But this is our first big event, so if you could support it, that would be amazing. Also, one request I do have for those of you who are coming on the day, if you are coming to the tournament and you have a few hobby supplies or things you may want to get nearer the time, maybe save that money and buy them at the store on the day. I'm paying for the venue, so it's not like we're getting it for free, but also they're doing a really good job of hosting us. So if you could hold off any hobby supplies buying, maybe you can get a white dwarf or a pot of paint or something, just to say thank you for hosting us on the day. That would be amazing. I'm all about supporting local hobby stores that are actually good for the hobby, and these guys are. Alright, so I will see you then in June, on June the 21st. And yeah, I will, of course I will be there. People ask me all the time, you're going to be there? Yes. It'll be really, really bad of me to be like, here's an event, and that I will not be at. No, I will be there. It's going to be awesome. Alright? Okay, cool. Let's jump in, shall we? To our first hobby nightmare of the day, and that is from somebody called Twitch. I hope it's not actual Twitch, like the actual platform emailing me, but there you go. He says, Hello North. I've been following your channel for about a year now since getting into Warhammer maybe 2 or 3 years ago. This hobby nightmare may not qualify, so I'll understand if you choose not to read it, but I do wonder if I'm alone or if anybody else might share my situation. If you go ahead, please call me Twitch. I must say, at the outset, that I am not intending to sound judgmental. Even if I might come across that way at times. My hobby nightmare, put simply, is the fact that I am too insecure and conflict avoidant to really let myself engage with the gaming half of the hobby at all. That's interesting, okay. I bought a 3D printer a few years ago now, and I've been printing and painting my way through Eldar from various third-party model makers. One-page rules Saurians and other assorted factions that look neat. I was, first and foremost, a 3D printing hobbyist before I found my way into the wonderful hobby of painting tabletop miniature wargames. My problem is that I find myself unable to ever go to a store and meet other people who I could actually play a game of Warhammer or OPR with. Even when I go to the hobby store to buy paints, I find myself clamming up when I get to the register. I used to be very anxious when meeting or talking to strangers, but these days I'm pushing 30 and I like to think that I do just well as your average dude in any other setting. Yet for some reason, the friendly local game store just turns me into a mumbling mess, always wondering when I'll get chastised for 3D printing miniatures, made fun of for not knowing something, or snapped at by a particularly awkward guy. Okay, this is a normal, mate. You know what you've done? You really enjoy the hobby, and it's your little, passion time. It's your sanctuary, right? You're very afraid of letting anybody into your sanctuary because you think if you have one thing that really taints your experience, the whole thing's going to be ruined. Do you know what I mean? You think if you go into a hobby store and you speak to one guy who just has a bad day and really, really, gets in your grill and sticks in your head, there's a bad experience, it's going to ruin the entire thing for you. And you know what? You're kind of right. Because that's just who you are. I know, because that's who I am. There are a lot of things that I don't do. Sometimes I don't paint a model that's come out really nicely when I've been converting it because I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin the experience of converting the model in my memory by not painting it properly. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know I'm an okay painter. It's going to be fine, you know what I mean? But I put it off for weeks, maybe even months before I paint it again, right? Same thing goes for, playing a part of a video game that I know I really like through. I like to save that up. Like I used to do it in Mass Effect a lot. If I was replaying Mass Effect for the channel or something, I'd save one of the parts that I really liked for like a Friday night. A night where I know I'm going to be in a good mood. Because I don't want to taint it with like Sunday evening when I'm like, oh God, got work the next day. That kind of a thing. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of a mindset. Nowadays, I just do whatever I want, or I try to anyway. But you're doing that with the hobby, and it can be very, very difficult to get over it, to be honest with you. But anyway, when I reflect on what makes me behave this way, I'm sure it comes from my past experiences. I have, historically, not had an easy time meeting new people in your typical nerdy hobbies, despite being a nerd myself. I have been to a few Magic the Gathering events, usually brought along by a friend of a friend, and generally wound up alone in a room full of strangers who know a great deal more about the things going on than the filthy casual that is me. For example, being talked at, rather than talked to, by a guy whose voice seems to be building in intensity as he continues to tell me about how he has this great deck who could destroy anybody until he is on a barely hinged rant about some card or another, and I'm just looking for the exit without having said 2 words to the man. Or perhaps being made fun of for being one of those people, quote unquote, after I dug out an old stack of cards I had when I was a kid and built up into a commander deck. Or even when some neckbeard started berating my wife over some cards she played once I got up to go to the bathroom. I shit you not. Add to this the stigma that many people have towards 3D printing, and I'm afraid I will end up showing up having 3D printed my little toys instead of buying them at the higher price per pound than gold from Games Workshop, and have nothing to show for it besides an enduring a geek meltdown or general contempt for my projects. Okay. I'm not... Yeah, okay. Don't do that in Games Workshop, right? Please don't go to Games Workshop and get out your 3D printed models. You're putting the manager in a really tight spot. He may not want to shout at you. He may not want to even be unpleasant to you. He may even like your models, but he can't have them being played in his store. Even if he allows gaming in his store, he's not going to let you play with 3D printed models. Don't be silly, right? I'm not saying that's what you're doing. For those of you out there, don't do that. Right, you're putting the Games Workshop manager in a bad spot. He has a hard enough job as it is, dealing with those people. You don't do that, right? In your normal hobby store, do you know what? Communication is the one thing you're lacking here. You could solve a lot of problems by just saying, listen, I like to 3D print. I've got some really cool 3D printed models. Am I okay to play with them in store, or am I going to get, shouted at? I like to support your store, which is why I buy stuff here when I need stuff. But, I really like 3D printing, Can I play with those in the store or not? And do you know what? The manager or staffer will go, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I noticed that you always come and get yourself a white dwarf. Yeah, thanks, man. No problem. Yeah, you play with what you want, Especially if you have to book the space and pay for it. Dude, just go, oh, yeah, no problem, Literally. Just Play, for instance, you have to book the space. I think it's not very much. It's like £10 for 4 hours or something. I can't remember. But yeah, you book the space and they're like, dude, you can play fucking Tiddlywinks if you want. We don't care. As long as you paid for the space. Have fun, just have fun. Play the hobby. Communication, man. You're going to have to get over that fear of ruining your day. Start with little things. Do you know what I mean? Start with little things. Little bits of advice that you want that the guy can help you with. All right? Oh, what's a good colour for this? What's a good colour for that? I'm looking for a really cool purple colour that's really dark and melds well with gold next to it. What do you recommend, right? They will have tons of expertise to show you on that. Once you've done that, you've got a rapport going, then say, I really like... They're going to ask you, what kind of models do you have? You say, I'm really into 3D printing. You know, would I even be able to play with those in the store? Because I don't want to be presumptuous, you know. And they'll say, oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you have to book the table, but yeah, you can play with whatever you want, right? Communication. It's all that's needed here, all right? But perhaps it isn't fair to compare Magic the Gathering to Warhammer, and I should just man up and go and play a match at the local game store. Except the last time I was picking out paints from the rack and starting to work up the courage to ask if the store allows 3D printed armies, I heard it. A voice on the verge of cracking under the strain of a guy's building anger at not knowing that that unit could deep strike. As if a temper tantrum from this dude, one of only 2 in the store playing Warhammer, was imminent over the smallest turn of fortunes in the game. And just like that, I'm right back in the card shop, hearing a guy go on a tirade about how his 8/8 flying death touch double strike indestructible creature was exiled and his game was ruined. So I guess at the end of the day, I know I need to just pull on my big boy pants and put myself out there, other people's behaviour being their own problem. But I suppose I just wonder if anybody else finds themselves wondering how fun the other half of the hobby is when you just can't bring yourself to get into it and navigate the minefield of nerd rage to find a good time. On a separate topic, I work in the injection moulding industry and would love to pick your brain on the Games Workshop manufacturing situation if you have the time. I find the recent trends in their model and sprue design fascinating from a technical point of view. I wonder if you had any experience with that side of the business while you worked there. Yours truly, Twitch. No, I didn't. Nope. Not my bag, not my field. I am sorry to disappoint you. I will, though, of course, if you'd like to give me a few questions on the next Grimdark Therapy podcast, I will bring that up with Outer Circle, who is, in fact, very well versed in the injection molding and the making of sprues, the making of models, that whole process. He's very good to talk to you about that. So if you wish, I can pass on a few questions to him on the next Grimdark Therapy podcast. In terms of what you're doing, I've given you my advice already, man. Yeah, you need to just start slow and build up and talk to people in the store. Put yourself out there. Now, you don't need to play games in the store, dude. You can find friends, there must be friends out there that you have that must either play Warhammer or be into playing Warhammer, right? It's much easier to do it that way than it is to do it any other way. Come to Exile Fest. Come to Exile Fest. If you want to play games with people who aren't going to judge you, aren't going to be angry with you, come to Exile Fest. June 21st. Come down. Get your army on the table. We don't care if it's 3D printed, right? Get your army on the table, have some fun, right? There will be events like this all over the UK or wherever it is that you are, all right? So yeah, look for events like this and generally stay to Grimdark Future. Stay to OPR. And in OPR, you 3D print all your models anyway. I'm the exception in OPR. I play OPR with Games Workshop's models. So I'm the exception. Most other people play OPR with their own 3D printed models. So, maybe it's not the hobby that you're afraid of. Maybe it's the game you're playing. Maybe you don't quite fit, right? Maybe go over there. Anyway, that's my advice. Moving on to, who is this now? Jay. How's it going, man? He says, hey, North, you can call me Jay. First off, thanks for what you do on this channel. No problem, man. I stumbled across your stuff while working a former job delivering beer across Los Angeles and Ventura counties here in Southern California. And I've been an avid listener ever since. Keep up the good work, man. No problem. So a bit of background. I first got into the Grimdark as a kid with 3rd edition and played with my brother and our neighbour friends through 4th before falling out of it. I still have my starter box with the badass Blanche art and the rule book, as they are truly prized possessions of mine. Dude, I've lost mine. I so wish I had. You guys know what I'm talking about. That box art, with the Black Templars on the front of it. Dude, I wish I still had mine, man. I think I took it to school so often that it kind of got wrecked when I was a kid, Anyway. Despite me not playing, I still loved Warhammer and kept up the best as I could, as its setting was truly special to me and stood so much apart from the other fantasy sci-fi settings. This was until 3 years ago, when the then new version of Kill Team was announced. Getting into Kill Team was a blast, and vastly different than what I remembered playing 40k was like due to the smaller size and alternating activations, which really made the game feel cinematic. I'm very fortunate to have a vibrant scene here in LA with great people who, despite kicking the shit out of me every single time, were super rad and helpful. Win or lose, it's always a great time. Now, the issue I find was when I tried playing Big Hammer, normal Warhammer. I did a pick-up training game with somebody on Discord who was able to show me the ropes of how 10th edition was played, as I just bought the new Tyranid half of the Leviathan box set and really wanted to give it a go. My opponent was incredibly nice and helpful, so it was hardly a nightmare, but I kept finding myself thinking, oh wait, yes, this is why I stopped playing this. Dude, you're my spirit animal. This is literally me, yeah. This is literally me. Every time I play 10th edition, I'm like, yes, this is why I stopped. Do you know when you get to that point of a video game where you're like, was it really that bad? And, you know, I should like that video game. Why don't I like it? And then you get to that part and you're like, yes, this is why I uninstalled this in the first place. The rules bloat, the cards, stratagems, and the I go, you go model of play just wasn't very engaging for me. Yeah, me too. I was a little bummed thinking that I came full circle and it just wasn't for me. That was until I discovered one-page rules. I remember hearing about one-page rules, and upon googling the free rules, I was honestly in shock at how simple it was. I immediately texted a buddy of mine who is new to the hobby and got a good-sized Sister to Battle army on eBay. Hey dude, I found a rule set online that seems like a way simpler version of 40k. If it sucks, bring your more time stuff over and we can play that instead. He agreed, and we got into our first game. He came by to my place with a 6-pack, and we got our first game in. It was a small one, like 1500 points of bugs versus nuns. After turn 2, I remember it vividly. My friend stopped measuring and stated, "You know what, dude?" I was nervous he was going to hate it. Yeah man, what's up? I replied, and immediately took a sip of whatever Hop Bomb IPA we were enjoying while getting myself mentally ready to pack up. This is more fun than 40k, he said. Then started laughing his ass off. I told him the same, and we began singing the common praises of OPR and continued our game. Safe to say, we've never really looked back. Now, this guy is one of those talented dudes that can pick up an army at any point and be good at it, which worked out for me because he got into 3D printing, which expanded our creativity and let us build the armies we wanted without going broke. I now have Tyranids, Dark Angels, and Orcs, and this game reinvigorated my love for the hobby. I was even able to get a few friends of mine who were interested in 40k into tabletop games playing this way. We still play within the Warhammer setting, but with the OPR rule set, which is fun because the setting rules. Again, my apologies, as this is by all accounts the opposite of a nightmare for me, and this saved the hobby for me. I'll attach some pictures of our battles with my silly looking models and the board I made. Cheers, North. P.S. I'll be in Liverpool for Exile Fest, and I'm down to hang out and roll some dice. Should be fun, dude. See you there. Well, thank you for coming all the way over from America, man. If you don't want to bring your army, the Exiled Blades are there for you to use, but they are Space Marines, so you may be allergic to them. I don't know. But let's look at some of your images, shall we? It's really, really cool. One thing I will say for one-page rules, right, is that the biggest compliment I can give them is when you're playing one-page rules, it still feels like you're playing 40k. A lot of people are scared of playing it because they think, you know, it's going to be so different, it's not going to be for me, I'm going to be, you know, really annoyed by it, it's going to be a real swing. But it isn't. One-page rules, generally, the biggest strength it has, absolutely, top down, is that it feels like 40k when you're playing it. It feels like a much quicker, much more bloody version of 40k. In general. Everything's dying, everything's going wrong, and you're having the time of your life, right? It is like playing the starting section of Dawn of War again. You know, all things like that. I love it, and your board's really good, man. But that's the main, in my opinion, that is the main crux of OPR, okay? OPR is, literally, it feels like you're playing 40k. But quicker, simpler, and you can actually get engage with the stories going on and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, really cool stuff. We're on to the advice section of the day now. From who are we going to go with? Let's go with Princeps. I'm going to call him... Oh, he says North and John. Okay. All right, okay. He says, hey, Northern, I think. Yeah, it's Northern or North or Northern Exile, whatever you want to call me. He says, hey, Northern. John again, asking for some advice. Okay. First off, thank you so much for reading my previous email. It was great to listen to and hear how bad I am at writing emails. I messaged in to say to get good at a random dude on the internet. I'm sure you get lots of these now that you ask for them, and here's 1.5 more, I guess. First one is a pretty personal one. My father and his sister grew up in South Africa during apartheid. Now I remember when I visited, so I had family who lived in South Africa for a long time, and I went and visited them when I was like 14. I cannot replicate the feeling as a 14-year-old waking up in the morning, the first morning in South Africa, and I was going to be there for a few months, waking up, sitting up, and looking out the window, and the sun is cracking the flags. It's really hot, right? And there's a woman walking down the street with a bikini on, with a thong on, walking her dog. That's not something a British teenager is used to seeing, right? Safe to say, I really liked my time in South Africa when I was a teenager, but that's neither here nor there. Alright. During apartheid, the world's best ism. Look it up if you don't know about it. It was shit. Yeah, it was. But like, again, I will leave that to you and Google. He went through primary school, and she went all the way through high school during this time. As my father is quite successful in his field, and has been hired to travel to many countries throughout the past 15 plus years, he's gotten a very rounded world view. But I feel bad for his sister. He's gone through some shit times. As a single and struggling to find employment father after burning out mother of one, okay, somehow manages to stay a spoiled and needy child though. She doesn't have the greatest world views, as in his sister. Okay, so you've jumped around all over the place here, man. I don't know what we're talking through. You said he's gone through some shit times, and then you've gone over to her. So I think you mean she, right? She's gone through some shit times. As a single and struggling to find employment after burning out mother of one, somehow manages to stay spoiled and a needy child though. She doesn't have the greatest of worldviews. Nothing abhorrent, but she still has echoes of her time in South Africa. She's never left the country and recedes deeper into religion, spending more time in front of the holy book than looking for an actual job. She's obviously depressed with her situation, but has no way out. How can I help? What can I do? It feels bad, but I'm not even a legal adult. Can I even do anything to help? It also feels bad to live in a world where two siblings with the same level of skill and drive can seemingly be decided by fate whether or not they're successful. Everybody knows it, but it's still kind of shit. Feel free to take a break. No, I'm good. Now, a less down one. As a 6'7", feet in inches, I think, 17-year-old, I am, as you might say, tall. Dude, you're not tall. Like, a 17-year-old who's 6'7", you're like... Jesus, wept. Well, you're going to stand out, put it that way. But I always infuriate my parents whenever I let some random people past us in a crowded hall or line. It always feels bad cutting them off, so I never do that, and it feels like it'll look like cowardice to any potential girlfriends. Okay? I don't go to real school and haven't met anyone. How do you train yourself out of such things, and, even more to the side, how do you motivate yourself to get to the gym? As most days I sit on my ass and play Stellaris or something and want to go but feel no motivation to. Thank you for your content, North. Hope to listen to you one day in the gym. Alright, first of all, you can't change your adult relatives. So don't try. Don't try, right? That's not your responsibility, mate. You're a young man. You're a young lad. It's not your responsibility to change the people around your life who are grown adults. They've made their decisions and they are where they are. I've learned the hard way, you can't do that. People are stuck in their ways, they are what they are, and they can only change if they want to change and they want to get better, right? Because they're grown adults, and they will always see you as a kid. If you go around there, start giving advice, it's going to come across wrong, they're going to think you're being really disrespectful, and it's going to harm your relationship with them. So if you want a relationship with them, let them make their own mistakes, right? And live your life. Okay? It sounds really shitty, but their time is over, my friend. Your time is coming. So you need to, you know, get out there and start, you know, adjudicating your own life. Do not worry about what the adults in your life are doing in their own lives. That's not your place. Okay? Your place is you. And on that, getting to the gym. If you're anything like me, and most other dudes that I know, you really like having aims, goals, right? You should have a good look of how you want to look, what you want to look like. Okay? Why are you going to the gym? If you're 6'7", you're obviously a slender young man. A slender young man, right? And if you're playing video games all day and you're not getting fat, you obviously have a high metabolism, right? Look at a guy like Dr. Disrespect, right? He's 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", and he really struggles to put on weight. He eats loads of shit all the time, trying to put on weight because his metabolism is that fast, right? And if he doesn't train for like a couple of days, his muscles go away. He said that before, right? He's literally shown that. His muscles atrophy very, very quickly. Because that's just how his body works very quickly. Yours might be the same. And if it is the same, then you need you naturally stay quite fit. You naturally stay quite thin and healthy looking. So your motivation to go to the gym might not be as high. So what do you want to look like? If you want to look ripped, right, you need to start eating more protein, okay? Don't be taking any supplements, you're 17. Don't you fucking dare. Don't listen to Major Kill. Don't you dare. He's a fucking moron. Don't listen to him, right? Do not inject yourself with anything. Don't take anything. You're 17 years of age. You know what's going to get you ripped? Protein and hard work, my friend. That's it. Alright? You eat well, you eat lots of protein, you lower your carb intake, right? You get to the gym and you get on the weight and you get a man there who knows what he's doing to teach you how to apply weights to different parts of your body, right? Working on your legs, your arms, your shoulders, your pecs, you're on main, right? You ask a man who knows more than you, is what you do. If you learn to do that at a young age, it'll set you up for life much better. You need to ask other men what to do and how to do it. Do what I did. When I was a kid, I would collect father figures. I'd be like, this guy's older and knows more than me. I'm going to be friends with him. This guy also knows more than me and is older than me. I'm going to be friends with him, right? And I collected a menagerie of like 8 or 9 dudes who all knew different things about different things, but were all older than me, and I just absorbed all of the knowledge that I could, right? And it really did do me a lot better than just, jerking off on Stellaris or whatever it is you're doing. Stellaris is a good game, by the way, so it's not a bad game to be playing. But if you want to get to the gym, make sure you have a goal in mind, all right? How do you want to look? And be honest with yourself. When you go to the gym, ask somebody who knows more than you. Say, hey, I want to look like this, I want to bulk out, I want to look better, I want to look like, I'm chiseled and things like that, I want to look ripped. Tell me how to do that. How do I do that, right? You may need to spend some money. You may need to get a membership there or something, which is fine. Always ask. But again, in general, eat more protein. That means meat, of all kinds. Good stuff. Make sure your water intake's really, really high. Make sure you're eating lots of veg. Really good stuff. And you know what I do? Because sometimes when you do that, your digestion can mean that you're having really small poos and stuff, right? So what I do is I eat some All Bran in the morning, and that bulks out it clears out your system. Do you know what I mean? Down there, clears out your inner workings, your pipes. But also, it means that even though you're eating protein, normally if you eat loads of protein, it means that your poo is going to get smaller and less often. Because you're not. Your body's using what you put in. If you're only eating protein and not many carbs, your body's burning all that. It's like, it's got not a lot of waste, right? Which means there's not a lot of waste. But I find that All Bran really helps to. It's an awful conversation, isn't it? But All Bran helps regulate my system, essentially, right? So it's much better. So All Bran in the morning. I normally do a soup for lunch, right? A soup and salad maybe for lunch. Miso soup's amazing. Hardly any carbs, lots of protein. Drink that, and you can have it all day if you want. You're not gonna put on any weight. And then getting into the evening, make sure that you're doing steaks, chicken, salads, right? That kind of stuff. Like fish, brilliant. Absolutely, fish is amazing, right? Somebody who is your size should probably be eating meat in lunch and dinner, I would say. Probably lunch and dinner. But I am not a nutritionist, right? I am not a personal trainer. I know what works for me. This works for me. Like, it allows me to lose weight very, very quickly and put on muscle very, very quickly. All right? So that works for me. I don't know what's going to work for you. You're a 6'7" freak of nature, my friend. You're a genetic freak, and that's good. That's a good thing, right? If you can work on yourself and look good and like have like good arms and shoulders, man, you're gonna be swimming in it. If you know what I'm saying. By the time you get to university and stuff, so that's what I would do if I were you. All right, okay, right. That is Hobby Nightmares for today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how Chaos as a faction kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. Needs rebuilding. And we're going to do that tomorrow. All right. All right. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Bye now.